Hello guys, welcome back. I'm liking this updated version of Bandicam. I didn't like the looks at first, but I'm starting to like it more. I think I heard from Odin that's a good lesson there. I took some time out today for what I'm going to call lunch with the gods, and you can all feel free to borrow this. Um, just make time sometime whenever you have time to take your lunch and invite the gods in. And it's okay if you don't feel their presence and not just trust that they're there. Invite the gods in, make a nice lunch. It doesn't have to be super fancy. It can just be baked beans out of a can or crackers and water if that's all you have, but invite them to lunch. And spend some time, studying about the gods and being aware of their presence. I even, I have a habit of pulling out a chair if I'm like today was Odin's day, so it was Odin's day to come to lunch, and I actually pulled out the chair, and as I was reading, he was, invited to sit. No, our gods don't need physical things like that, but it's a nice gesture. And, I had made coffee and everything. I set it out and, offered it to them first, and then I ate. And took time to do rune work and, clean altars and do some studies. And it's a really nice way to actually spend time with our gods, as opposed to spending all of our time in study and totally ignoring our gods. Um, it reminds us that our gods are present in our life, that they're actually real, and yes, they would like us to work on the relationship, please. I had no idea who was trying to get through, and then I realized it was Njord trying to get through. So Njord has his altar fixed up in here. He took stuff. And it was good of him to take it because stuff gets passed around this house a lot. There's zero altar funds, so stuff goes from altar to altar to altar. And Loki was feeling very generous since I was paying attention to him and he was getting affection, so he was, giving stuff to the other gods and giving them some more space. Hold on, let me adjust myself here. And during my studies, with the gods present, with Odin present, I was reading this story, and I can give you a link over if I remember. And this kid's sitting at a bus stop, and he's wearing his hammer. And there's this old man at the bus stop with him, and he really wishes this old man wasn't there. Guy's dressed in a Vikings sweatshirt, and, kind of old man you don't want hustling you at the bus stop, and kid really wishes he'd go away. And the old man starts his conversations, the kind you have at the bus stop you wish people just shut up and go away. And he asks him about the hammer, and he asks him what it means. And then the old guy goes, well, I guess you know all about the Norse gods. Anyone else would have been being very polite, but this kid's like, oh god, I just wish this old man would beat it and get lost. And he's like, yeah, he knew about the old gods, and he was able to name everything that this guy asked about. He would ask, what's the name of this ship, and what's the name of this hull, and what's the name of this. And the kid could give him answers, but he just gave him one word answers, and the old guy is getting more and more agitated. In fact, he's like taking like a bag out of nowhere, and he's like beating these birds, and two ravens come down. This is the most gifted pagan in the world, and not realize anything yet. And the kid keeps giving one word answers, and the All-Father is getting really agitated. And finally he says, well, I have one more question for you. And he looks dead at him. He goes, who am I? And the kid looks at him and goes, well, I haven't met you yet. And Odin looks at him and says, yeah, you haven't met me yet. And he gets up and he leaves. And I'm like, wow. And the kid had no idea what happened. I'm like, dude, you actually had Odin Allfather sitting next to you. You should have been suspicious when he started pumping you for information. That's the first thing that you should watch. Usually Odin's more subtle. Because as I'm reading that, I'm looking back thinking, have any of the people that have hustled me at the bus stop been Odin? I wouldn't know. Because, you always run into those guys at the bus stop, they're kind of like jerks. And you'd kind of like to kill them. But you don't know. You wouldn't know when you ran into Odin. But still, if Odin was being obvious Odin wearing a Vikings shirt and a hat and feeding ravens, I think you'd pick up on it. But, it was a thing about the thing was not let's laugh at the kid for not knowing it was the All-Father, even though we're all amused. It was we can get so caught up in our studies that we forget and neglect the spiritual side. We forget to take time to work with the gods. It was funny because a Christian song was popping into my head, and I was like, what's this? Like a day or so ago about God missing his time with his servants, that they're spending so much time going around doing all this good work that they're not spending any time with their deity. And we can fall into the same exact habit of we're running a channel or we're writing articles or we're being good pagans and we spend so much time doing stuff that we don't spend time with our gods. Look, he got a lot of time today, even though he was Mr. Sleepy and his eyes were half closed and he was so tired, but he trotted faithfully with me everywhere. He was very proud to help, but he's so tired. I told him just go take a nap somewhere. He was so tired. Odin appreciated the time, and Njord appreciated the time. And if we'll meet our gods halfway and we'll spend some time with them, it doesn't have to be a huge amount of our day. But again, another thing we have to think about is if even 5 minutes a day is too much for our gods, then we have to think about, why are we putting, too much emphasis on stuff we don't even have to worry about. Odin and Loki and company really don't care how much output I do on the channel. They're more worried that I spend enough time with them. And I spend time on my rune studies, so we did that. And with me, with rune studies, you guys all know my brain's like a sieve. I've got it the instant I'm looking at it, and then it's like it's completely gone, like somebody whisked it away. And I'm never going to be a rune master. I will remember the name, but I will unfortunately remember the wrong name. Or I'll remember the name in a wrong way, and it's like, well, at least I'm in the general ballpark. I can, write down some names, and I know what some of the runes are called, and so forth and so on. And I'm making a little progress, but I'm nowhere near there yet. And I've already made enough progress that I'll look at stuff, especially on Pinterest. You ever see something on Pinterest and it's written in advanced gobbledygook because it's written in runes, but you're reading it and you're even looking at your rune cheat sheet and you're like, this isn't in any language I recognize. And Odin smiled and he says, well, some people like to write in the runes, dear, but, they don't know what they're doing. So he's making sure I take it really slow and make sure that I know what I'm doing. And it's a thing of just having the patience to do the work. We did do a lot of filming today, and they all seem to enjoy that. And it's been a good day. It's been a little tiring for me because sometimes, it is tiring to try to get, filming done, and then I still have all the nice, lovely housework we all have, and then to clean altars and that. But it's worth it. So we're having a really quiet day. We're not having anything too spectacular because Loki's been sleepy and Odin's been content just to have the Did I mention the lunch with the gods? About Did I mention that? I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I don't know why I said in the first part of this video, but basically about fixing a nice meal, even if it's super humble, and spending time with the gods. Even if you can't feel them, even if you can't sense them, just talk to them and be assured that they hear you. So you can do it with Loki, with Odin, with whomever. And it was funny because as we were reading the stories, we read another one too, and there was this woman that she ends up dying, and she's given a choice. She dies in the defense of her child. Jesus shows up, even though they don't name him. There's only one Middle Eastern dude that I can think of. Well, there are others, but there's only one that loves everybody. And he's like, well, you can come live in my home, and you can see your child from my home, but you can never come back. And you'll learn to love the man that killed you and was going to kill your child. And she's like, what? And he goes, well, he apologized. He said he was sorry, and he was truly sorry, so he's living in my house, and you're going to live with him. And you tell she's thinking, this is some bullshit right here. And a Valkyrie appears, and she says, she was the one that helped the woman. She helped her to defend and kill that guy. So they both died. The attacker died, and she died too, but she got to save her child. And she says, I admire that you were willing to fight and die for your child, so I helped you. And she says, you can come live in our hall. And there will be feasting and drinking and fighting, and we'll teach you so that the next time you take on people like him, you could take on 10 of them and win. And she says, you'll always be happy. And she says, well, can I come see my child? She said, of course you can come see your child. You're an ancestor. You have to come see your child. So you know where she went. And I was like, that's the difference. Our ancestors are free to come and go to see us. They don't have to go live somewhere forever and never see us again. They don't have to wait to be reunited with us. Our ancestors can be upfront and personal with us. And even if they worshipped other gods, Odin seems to have a way of convincing other gods that we need to see our ancestors and we need to see them now. And if he has to explain that as Spear Point, I think he will. He's feisty. And we had done some things, we had written some stuff on the front door, and I put Odin's stuff there today, but there was something there for the god of my ancestors. And I told Odin, I said, I don't know, this is an all-Norse household now. I said, I don't feel comfortable having his name on the front door. And he says, well, that is a signal to your ancestors that you still respect them enough to do that for them, to look up the Aramaic and actually do it. He said that is a mark of respect to them and to that god. You don't have to worship a god to be respectful. He says, I don't expect you to go around punching gods in the face just because you don't worship them. Because you know Odin. He's very forthright, like Loki. Loki told me after he had caused all the trouble and had all the joy of causing drama, if I had a problem with you, I'd tell you myself. I said, you don't know how much drama you could have saved? Yeah, but I like drama. We fought, yeah! I looked at him, I said, have you gotten dropped on your divine head? Do you like going without air for a while? What's your major malfunction? I love you. You're pretty when you're mad. Damn it, if we don't smile when they say that, right? You know what, though? It works on men, too. I did it to a dude once. He was so mad, and I said, you know what? You're pretty when you're mad. He blushed, and he looked away. So, ladies, you can use it. I wouldn't recommend a dude use it on another dude. I don't know what the reaction might be, but ladies, try it. Try it. It's great, because they don't know what to do. They just blush, and they look away. You can substitute the word handsome if it'll make you more comfortable, but it works. It's a great way to diffuse a situation. With New York coming in, things are more peaceful. With Freya here, things are more peaceful. And we got into the sticky situation of Ostera today. There are some heathens that worship her as a goddess, and there are some people that say, I'm a book heathen, I am a knowledgeable heathen, she never existed, blah, blah, blah. I think she's the closest to the overwhelming, overarching idea I had of goddess when I came in, because my goddess was very interested in Easter. So whether she is one of our ladies masquerading or she is a goddess in her own right, I'm like, you know what? It's actually none of my damn business. Odin seems to like her, and that's good enough for me. And I'm not taking that from American gods either. I grew up in the faith, so to speak, and Wicca in Ostera was an accepted goddess. Someone's answering you. If they're answering to a name that's not theirs, it really doesn't matter. And if it is Ostera, the lady herself, then so much the better. The gods and goddesses will meet us more than halfway. Whatever makes us truly happy, as long as it's not destructive, they'll do for us. If we want something destructive, they'll do everything they can to stop us, but in the end, they'll respect our free will. Look at us, unless it's stupid. Thank you, dear heart. But I just wanted to record something for you guys. We're just, I'm kind of tired because it was, sometimes it's a lot of work running a household, running a channel, and going out, filming stuff, and coming back in and cleaning everything. And I could not get happy with the altar placement till basically New York shooed me away. He's like, go, go, go. Because I would have kept fixing it for all eternity. And we're waiting to go get the taxes done. The alarm did go off today. Oh, that's something I'll close with. The alarm went off today, and I just burrowed under the covers. Because we're doing a test run to see if I'll get up on my own with this alarm. And I managed to sleep through about 20 minutes of light, which wasn't good. I got up at like, say 7:58. And my alarm was set for 8 o'clock, so I got up before the alarm, but still, that's not good, because all I had to do was turn away and bury myself in the covers, and I could ignore it. So that happened, and I was ignoring it, so Loki was very helpful. I heard, and remember, the old alarm clock's busted, but if you press down the button, you get the time, and you get that rooster sound. That's the only way you get the alarm now. And look, he's trying to be helpful. He's like, if you would reach out when it's time to get up and hit that, it will wake you up. I said, Loki, that's the dumbest idea I ever heard. So he found a toy. He found the toy. It's broken. I can't set it to go off. That I know would get me out of bed because I hate that thing. But he loves it. He loves it. So it's his new toy. He was playing with that. How he made it go off, I don't know, but he managed it. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.